All right, so I was curious about Windows Recall. So I set up an environment, got this installed and up and running. Later in the video, I'll go over how you can set this up if you're curious as well. For now, I just want to take you through the interface here for dealing with the snapshots and searching your history. If I close that, you can see in the taskbar tray, there's an icon. This is for Recall. If I click that, I can choose Open Recall, and that'll bring up the window I just had open. And then right now, it starts out with the current time. If I step back in time, though, I can step through my history here. And there's sessions for approximations of when you're using your machine, and then when there are breaks in terms of usage, it tends to split these up. Though last night when I was looking at the sessions here, I only had two. I had one big one that extended through here, and then I had the later one. You can see this one started at about 7:16, and then the last one ended at 5:39. For some reason, though, this morning when I opened this back up, it had turned the large session, even though it was going through the same time period, into two separate sessions. Not the end of the world, just something I noticed that it basically breaks down the time periods into little bars here, so you could theoretically go back to a particular point in time in a day or a week that you were using your machine to look for something specific. And if you long hold, you'll get a big little view here where you can slowly scroll through things here. Not a lot in that time period though. Click and hold here, bigger view, I can scroll slower through the images. So that's one way to access your history. Of course, you can search as well. For example, I could look for Winget. Maybe I want to know what package I installed. I installed several packages, so I could search for Winget install. I get some text result matches, and these seem to be matches where text has been OCR'd out of the document. If you click into this, you can see here's a Winget install for JetBrains. And then unfortunately, it doesn't seem to step through the search results. I have to come back here to find the next search result that matched. I wish these little arrows here would step through search results if I'm in a search, because if I want to get out of the search, I have to come up to the top level anyways. But it doesn't seem to understand stepping through these one at a time once you open one of them up. So anyways, I can go through here. I could find out, oh, maybe this was what I was interested in when I installed the Chocolatey package. I can even select the text there and copy it. And then I could paste that somewhere. Maybe I want to look for that in particular, or just Chocolatey. See what I was doing with Chocolatey. Or I drew a picture of a heart, and I'm still trying to figure out if it'll actually search for that and find it. And it still doesn't seem to be able to do that. So if I put in red instead, oh, yesterday it was finding that. If I put in paint instead, see if it can do that. There you go. You can see the heart that I drew there. I was hoping that it'd be able to find that, but it doesn't seem to be able to understand that yet, or it never parsed that as something meaningful to be able to search through. Now, part of that might be that I don't actually have a device with an NPU in it. So maybe there are some limitations in terms of the amount of processing power I have for what it can actually analyze. Who knows? Maybe it just doesn't have that feature yet. Most of the matches I'm finding are coming up as text matches. Very rarely do I get some sort of visual match. I know if I search for the Brave browser, I was getting some matches for that. Yeah, I get one there. That is the very first snapshot that I took. For whatever reason, that one comes up successfully. Oh yeah, I could do this. I could look for Rick. And yeah, it actually finds it. Or I could look for Wikipedia, which I spent some time on. Finds a couple matches here. I guess this is a visual match. Not certain why we're getting visual matches in some cases versus text, other than assuming it's OCRing the text. Don't know what exactly a visual match means at this point. Might actually have just found the Wikipedia logo in that case. If that's the case, though, why didn't it find the Wikipedia logo for both of these articles? I'm not sure about that. Oh, and if you click into one of these, inside of each snapshot, it tries to identify the context of whatever it is you're working with. So this was a web page. So in this case, I should be able to click to open up to that web page. There you go. That's Recall. Or if I come back here, and let's come down to this one here. If I click into here, I can open up a separate Wikipedia article. So depending on what you're doing, if you're working with an application, let's just step through here and see if we can find something. Yeah, okay, so there's Terminal. So in that case, it's no longer a website, and instead it was Windows Terminal, so I can open up Windows Terminal instead. So that's interesting that you can launch an application, or more specifically, a website if there's something you forgot. Also down below, you have some tools. For whatever reason, this ability to hover over the image and analyze and find text to select, it's called Screen Ray, if I understand correctly. If for whatever reason you want to turn that off, you can click this button here, and now it no longer does the little scan thing and be able to select text. Turn that back on though. Now this is one interesting thing that might actually be useful. If I could control the process for how these snapshots are taken, This could basically be a replacement for the snapshot tool. And instead of just saving images to disk that you could then scroll through, this could give you a catalog of your snapshots. And then it would be interesting if I could go ahead and copy the snapshot, or if I come to the three dots here, I can edit the snapshot with the snipping tool. In which case, then this basically becomes a tool to catalog screenshots. And if I control when it happens, then perhaps that'd just be an improvement over the existing snipping tool. And then, of course, if you want to get rid of an image, just hit the delete button here. I don't know why it prompts, but yeah. Okay, go ahead and delete. And now that's gone. One gripe I have, though, about deleting, I would like some way to be able to zoom out and see a lot of the snapshots and be able to select a period of time and delete multiple snapshots at once in case there's something sensitive I was doing and I want to get rid of that because I accidentally allowed snapshots to stay on. That would be nice to have. It's not there. I'm assuming they'll add that at some point in time. I'd also like some sort of feature to control how long I keep snapshots. Like anything past 30 days is probably useless. Anything perhaps even past a couple of days is probably going to be useless because I won't remember when I was doing something. And I doubt the search is going to be that great anytime soon to be able to find whatever it is I'm interested in. Because that's kind of my assessment at the end of the day. We're dealing with a tool here that essentially is just a screenshot management tool. Wow, I'm several levels deep into searches there. Now I think I can come up to the timeline here, come back to the top level. And if I want to jump to now, I can click this button here. So yeah, in my opinion, this is just a tool to manage screenshots. I'm really not seeing anything that impressive at this point in time. That said, I wasn't thinking of it as a tool just to manage screenshots. And so, like I said, if I could have some better control over when this happens, instead of just randomly taking images. For example, this morning, I spent some time browsing Slashdot, and I wanted to see what it actually captured. And I can tell you for certain, it's not actually capturing things every 5 minutes. It's got some sort of other trigger that's involved. And I say that because I actually just slowly went through Slashdot and I'd open up an article, look at it for maybe 10 or 20 seconds. One of them I read for probably a couple minutes. And yet that one that I read, this one right here, I only spent maybe 1 or 2 minutes on this page. And yet it got 3, 4, 5 snapshots of that particular article. And so there's no way I spent 30 minutes on that or 25 minutes on that. So one thing I would like to see is if I'm going to take snapshots, I'd like some control over what exactly it's taking a snapshot of, when it's taking it. For example, when I'm browsing the web, if that's something that I really care about, then I probably want some sort of setting that says every time I open up a new page, take a snapshot. Every time I spend more than a few minutes, or maybe when I scroll down on a page, take a snapshot. That way I actually record all of my history, because right now, going back here, I opened up at least 3 or 4 articles, and you can only see the Slashdot homepage one time here. I don't see it ever again, and yet I kept going back to it. And so I was hoping that it would track maybe that history of every time the page opened and closed, but it didn't seem to do that, and nor did it do the every 5-minute thing. All right, so that's the top level summary I have of this. Of course, you have the tool down here where you can pause. So you can pause until tomorrow. I guess there's no option to just turn it off unless you come into the settings here and you disable the snapshots. Oh, and I guess right here, you can go ahead and delete a snapshot. Oh, cool. This is something new I missed the first time. So if I wanted to delete snapshots from a time frame, could go the past hour, 24 hours, past 30 days. All right, so this actually makes a lot of sense. However, I would like it to have an automatic deletion for stuff past 30 days or 7 days, something like that, or give me a text box to type in a number of days. Now, I didn't take any time to try out the filtering of applications or websites. Definitely would want to set that up for websites like bank websites and other sensitive sites. In fact, it would be nice if they had some sort of filters that automatically excluded certain websites that are known to be sensitive, like all the major banks and maybe all of the major credit card companies, etc. All right, now in terms of setting this up, since this video is long enough, I'm just going to edit this and put this up. And then I'll create a separate video of the process to set up an environment with this to be able to test this out yourself.